One of the first real jobs I ever had was working in door-to-door sales. The pay was strictly commission-based, so it was entirely possible to work 60 hours a week and earn absolutely nothing. Fortunately, the training we received was quite high quality, and one particular concept I learned has stayed with me to this very day. It's such a powerful concept that it has brought me massive success in all areas of life. This is the law of averages. To understand what this law is and how it can impact you, let me explain what my job entailed. I sold telecommunication services like TV, internet, and home phone. Most of my day was spent knocking on doors, searching for potential buyers. Along the way, I encountered three types of people. The first group was the most common: decisive customers who were satisfied with their current provider, had no complaints, and didn't want to hear my pitch. They often chased me off their porches with their surprisingly large collections. Only the very best salespeople could convince them to buy, and even then, the success rate was incredibly low. These individuals made up about 80% of all consumers. The next group was medium difficulty consumers. They were much rarer, making up about 10% of all customers. They didn't love or hate their providers. There were things they wished could be better, but overall, they weren't actively looking to switch. These customers were willing to listen to an offer, and the best salespeople could close a deal with them. Moderately skilled salespeople could land a few deals as well, but if you were new to the game, it was tough to close a sale. Finally, there were the easy customers. They were extremely rare but already ready to buy. They had issues with their current provider and were considering switching, but just hadn't gotten around to it yet. If you, as a salesperson, encountered these customers, no matter how bad you were at sales, the deal was practically guaranteed. As long as you didn't mess up the paperwork, the chance of finding these people was nearly 100%. The law of averages states that the likelihood of certain events evens out if their frequency increases. This meant that if I spent an entire day encountering only difficult customers, I shouldn't get discouraged. By continuing to work, I would eventually run into an easy customer, and this often turned out to be the case. One time after finishing training, I found myself in a massive apartment complex with 15 floors and over 300 doors. I spent the entire day knocking on doors only to be met with constant rejection and angry responses. In my head, I kept thinking, the law of averages is nonsense. I was convinced that success depended on the territory, product price, or even the weather. But I decided to prove myself wrong. I knocked on every single door, and at the very end of the last floor, I found 3 easy customers in a row. They practically begged to switch providers. I was amazed by the power of the law of averages. Over time, as I kept working, this law became an increasingly important part of my mindset. Now, how does this law apply to you? Maybe you're not in sales, but no matter what you do, you'll face plenty of rejection and resistance before occasionally encountering opportunities that are practically waiting for you. Whether your goal is in your personal life, your career, or gaining recognition for your creative work, the majority of people will turn you down. The key is to remember that the more actions you take and the more rejections you face, the closer you get to finding those who are excited to work with you. If you want a girlfriend, you need to approach more women. If you want a good job, you need to apply to more places. If you want recognition for your creative work, you need to keep creating. Don't worry about early rejections. This is how life works. It's all a numbers game, and the odds may never feel like they're in your favor. But if you keep playing, you will eventually win. And that, my friend, is the law of averages.